The message arrived just after Fajr, when the city was still rinsed in the last shade of night and the kettle hadn't yet learned to sing. The screen glowed with a number that looked like a mistake, as if someone had typed an extra zero in a hurry and sent it to the wrong person. He sat on the edge of the bed, not moving, listening to the quiet of the apartment and the distant hum of an early bus. For a moment his chest tightened, not with joy, but with that strange fear you feel when something heavy is placed in your hands without warning. He opened his banking app again, refreshed, wiped his eyes, as if the pixels could be smudged, and there it was, an amount that could change the shape of his month, maybe his year. It's easy to dress moments like this in superstition, to call it fate the way people call rain good luck when they happen to need it. But in an Islamic telling, nothing arrives unannounced in the sight of Allah, even if it arrives unannounced to us. Risk moves through routes we don't track, a debt someone finally decides to repay, a contract that clears after months of silence, an inheritance that reaches you after paperwork crawls, a refund you forgot you were owed, an opportunity that falls into your lap because someone else stepped away. The surprise is not proof that life has become magical, it's proof that your knowledge of the script was always partial. The more honest question is not, why me? But, what am I expected to do now that it has reached me? A lot of people misunderstand unexpected money as a reward badge, a spiritual trophy for having suffered. That interpretation feels comforting because it turns hardship into a transaction. I hurt, therefore I'm owed. Yet, the Quran does not speak to us like a salesman. It speaks like a Lord who knows the human heart. Wealth can be a mercy, and it can be a trial, and sometimes it is both in the same hour. When Allah expands a person's provision, it may be to honor them, or it may be to examine what was hidden in them when they were constrained. The arrival is not the ending of a story, it is the beginning of a new chapter where your intentions are weighed with sharper scales. The title people give themselves, chosen one, can become a trap if it breeds entitlement, because entitlement is the cousin of ingratitude. In the Islamic frame, being chosen is not being singled out for comfort, it is being singled out for responsibility. A person may be chosen to hold wealth the way another is chosen to hold knowledge, or patience, or leadership, or the care of a family member. The test changes shape, but the essence remains. Will you carry what you're given with amana, or will you carry it like a thief carrying stolen goods, nervous, secretive, hungry for more? Unexpected money is most dangerous when it arrives before a person has decided who they are. There is a psychological mechanism behind why sudden provision can shake a person more than slow provision. The mind adapts to scarcity by building tight habits, sometimes healthy, sometimes desperate. It learns to count coins, to avoid certain aisles, to postpone repairs, to endure small humiliations quietly. Then, when a large sum appears, the brain doesn't immediately switch to wisdom, it switches to relief, and relief can be intoxicating. Relief tells you that you can finally stop thinking, finally breathe, finally buy your way out of anxiety. But anxiety doesn't leave because you spend. It leaves because you build trust, and trust comes from alignment. Your money, your values, your worship, your discipline, all pointing in one direction. That's why preparation for sudden money is not first about spreadsheets. It's about the inner posture. If your heart has been starved of dignity, you maybe try to purchase dignity through visible things, hoping people will treat you differently if you look like someone who made it. If your heart has been starved of control, you may hoard and become harsh, terrified that the door will close again. If your heart has been starved of love, you may use wealth to buy loyalty, and then feel betrayed when loyalty evaporates. Islam doesn't deny these urges. It puts them under light and says, name them, then refuse to be led by them. Money is a tool, not a therapist, and it does not cure what you haven't faced. Picture an ordinary afternoon a few weeks later. He's standing in line at a small grocery store, watching an elderly man count change with trembling fingers. The cashier is patient, but the people behind are not. One sigh is loud enough to be a shove. The elderly man apologizes, voice thin, and the man who received that unexpected money feels something odd in his throat. He could pay without thinking and walk away feeling like a hero, or he could do it quietly and keep the man's dignity intact. He reaches forward, places a note on the counter, and says softly, "Please add it to mine," then turns his body slightly as if shielding the old man from the eyes behind. The cashier nods. No announcement, no performance, just a small act that turns money into mercy. When he steps outside, the air feels lighter, not because he spent, but because he spent for Allah and not for his image. Now consider a counterexample, because not every story of sudden wealth is a story of elevation. There was another man in that same neighborhood who received a large payout from a legal settlement. He had prayed when he was broke, cried when his rent was overdue, promised all kinds of goodness if Allah opened a door. When the door opened, he walked through it and locked it behind him. He upgraded everything that could be photographed, started speaking to old friends with a new sharpness, delayed repaying people he had borrowed from because, in his mind, their requests felt like insults now. He drifted into transactions that were technically legal, but spiritually stained, telling himself everyone does it. Within a year, he was arguing with family, losing sleep, drowning in new expenses that required the next big amount to feel safe. The money was real, but barakah was missing. And without barakah, wealth is just noise that follows you home. The nuance that many people refuse to accept is that provision can expand, while ease does not. And that does not mean Allah has abandoned you or favored someone else. Sometimes unexpected money comes to you precisely when you're emotionally exhausted. Not as a celebration, but as a support for the next obligation. Medical bills, a parent's care, a move you didn't ask for, a chance to leave a harmful environment, a debt that has been strangling you. And sometimes the unexpected is delayed and arrives after you stopped hoping for it, because Allah teaches you not to worship the timeline. And sometimes, even when money comes, it is not meant to remove every struggle. It is meant to reveal what you do when you are capable. The believer's lens is not, how do I feel, but what is pleasing to Allah in this moment, and what will I answer for later? So, if a large amount of money is coming, readiness is not a mood, it is a decision made before the cash touches your account. Readiness is choosing halal pathways even when the haram shortcut is glittering, because you know what enters through a dirty door does not sit peacefully in the house. Readiness is paying back what you owe before you buy what you want, because debts are not just numbers, they are the prayers and patience of other people attached to you. Readiness is giving a portion away quickly, not because you are trying to buy blessings, but because you are training your heart to remember that you are not the owner, only the holder. And readiness is learning when to be silent, because not everyone who smiles at your good news is happy for you, and not every eye that watches you does so with love. At the end of the day, the quiet truth is this: money doesn't arrive to crown you. It arrives to expose you. It reveals whether your gratitude was real or just a poem you recited in need, whether your trust in Allah survives comfort as well as it survived hunger, whether your generosity has roots or only leaves. You can call yourself chosen if you want, but the real choosing will be visible in what you do when nobody claps, in what you refuse when nobody would catch you, in what you fix quietly with the means placed in your hands. Unexpected wealth is not a spotlight. It is a mirror, and the reflection is the part that stays with you long after the number stops feeling shocking.